Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second conversation about debriefing. Um, I'm gonna post a video every day this week talking about debriefing because I really believe that the way for you right now at this moment to wrap up your fall in a strong way and give your team what they need to move forward into the next season is to debrief, to take time to look and pay attention and learn. And today in particular, we're talking about make meaning of what happened this fall. If you don't debrief it, it didn't happen. Which means, like we said yesterday, if you don't talk about it, if you don't process it, all the potential learning just dissipates and gets lost. So we want to grab hold of that while we still can. Today, I've been thinking so much about what it's meant for me to be a foster parent in the last 3.5 years. When you foster, you have a lot of in and out and back and forth. Kids come and go really quickly. Placements can overlap with each other. And there's not really any formal way to sit down and debrief and make meaning of those experiences. And unfortunately, what that means is that sometimes I end up making a tough experience mean something about my own parenting skills or about me as a person. Or worse, I make a tough experience mean something about a child I've been looking after that really isn't warranted. It doesn't really mean that. It's just I have to make sense of my experience somehow. So I usually either blame someone else or blame myself. That's pretty normal. Everybody does that. A debrief would offer a way for me to do that differently. That's not unique to fostering. I think you are probably experiencing that in your work. You're certainly experiencing it in your life. We all have circumstances and experiences every single day and that build up over time. And they're neutral for the most part until we interpret them some way in our minds. Brene Brown says we tell ourselves a story about that experience or that neutral circumstance. And it can be very positive, our story, or it can be very negative. But when you're looking at a span of time, like the whole fall, there are undoubtedly, for sure, going to be gaps in our memory. We're not going to remember every single thing that happened. We're not going to remember all of the contributing circumstances around. What we're going to remember is just days that we felt amazing and days that we felt terrible. Or we're just going to remember how we felt, what we thought most recently. So when you ask someone, how was the fall? What you're most likely going to hear is how their most recent day was. And that does not give you a picture of the whole fall. But if that's the only interpretation that they get, if that's the only meaning that they can make of it, that will inform how they move into the next season. Often it won't serve them and it won't serve you or your team very well. A strong debrief lets you reflect and interpret together so that you can make the meaning together. You can choose how you want to interpret and lay a foundation to walk into the next season. So here's a tool I like to use. This is just a very, very simple timeline. I know you can't see it, it's off the camera, but I have September down at the bottom, October, November, December. Very simple timeline. To make this activity fun, I always like to make sure that everybody at every table has access to a whole bunch of different colored sticky notes. I love these. Why is it so fun to use them? I don't know, but it feels so wonderful. Anyway, could be just me. Anyway, what you're going to do is get a little legend out and let people know. I want you to write down all of our successes. Everything that was great is going on a blue sticky note. Everything that was challenging is going to go on a yellow sticky note. Every time that we had conflict in our team, interpersonal conflict, that's going on a pink sticky note. Every time that we overcame something, we really exceeded expectations, that's going on a green one. You can have all different kinds of things, whatever you want to pay attention to. And then what I really want to encourage you to do to take your team just that one step deeper is to have a particular kind of sticky note that's different. Maybe they're just bigger, maybe it's a different color or shape, whatever. Have a way for people to write down personal experiences in their personal lives. So something that was going on in their life that wasn't otherwise related to work. So this is the place for things like a child was born, or someone got divorced, or there was a diagnosis of some kind, or an accident, or a parent got sick, or you made a big move, um, stuff like that. So things that are going on in our personal lives that technically don't really count as a work event, but we know for sure that impacts on work in an enormous way. Okay, so you're going to give your team, 10 or 15 minutes, a short amount of time, but enough to like get some good work done, to write all their ideas on sticky notes. They can use their messages, their emails, their day timers, their journals if they have them, whatever they want to remember back, right? Like go through your calendar and look back. What did we do? Oh, right. Remember we did that whole big trade show, or remember we did that trip. I forgot we even did that. Go back through, remember your things, put all the details down on the board together. Once you've done that, you're going to give people a chance to share a couple of highlights, right? Anything that you want to particularly point out to us that you put up on the board. And then you're just going to give people a chance to come and notice it. Let's take some time, come on up to the board, look these over. The question is, what do you notice? And that's it. You're going to ask, what do you notice? You're going to give them time to look, and then you're going to talk about it. What do you notice? What do you notice? What else do we notice? And then you're going to encourage conversation. Somebody's going to say something, like, wow, we had a lot of failure in this quarter. Yeah, what do you make of that? Right? Let's see what happens. Anybody want to respond to that? Somebody might say, I noticed that we often have a lot of interpersonal conflict right after we've had a big success at work. What an interesting thing to observe, right? To notice if that's a pattern that's going on. Or maybe you're noticing we started off with a lot of failure, but we're really hitting a lot of success now. I should have moved up that way. I don't know. You'll find out. But we give a chance for people to talk about what they notice. And then you're going to move into, what do you make of that? What are some things that you're proud of or disappointed in? What did this fall produce in our team? And encourage conversation. Sometimes people forget that they can respond to each other, and it really helps if, as a leader, we offer that. Somebody says something and it's quite substantial or weighty, and then the room is just silent. It's okay to say, does anybody want to respond to that? That's a big comment. Give it a little bit of time. See if they do, because they probably do. As that's happening, as a leader, what you should do is keep in a notebook a list of some of those aha moments or realizations that people have. Because when the conversation has happened, you've taken a big chunk of time to notice and interpret together and bring some meaning, right? Bringing the meaning, that's when you're saying, what do you make of that? What did those things, those observations, what did they produce in our team? What made us better? What got in our way? And as you answer those together and people agree and disagree and you sort it out, you're gonna come to realizations. Things like, okay, because after you've talked about them, you might want to read them back aloud to people. You might want to say, here's some of the things I'm hearing. I hear us saying, wow, we had like a 50% staff turnover this fall. That's a lot. I feel like we didn't get much accomplished, but There's so much we did. Like, I forgot about a lot. It's a big thing to notice. We're really stronger than we think we are. All of our big challenges seem to be related to like one set of outdated policies. You might find that people have said, our team dynamics are killing us. Like, I can't believe how much conflict there is, how much, I think I did that one pink, how many pink papers, all of our interpersonal team conflict is killing us. You might find, this has happened to me in a team meeting before, somebody said, and this was so great, I feel like this has been a really challenging fall, but actually, when I see the amount of personal stuff that was going on in people's lives, we did pretty well, didn't we? Like, we did really well considering the amount of personal stuff that was going on. That kind of learning is gold. And for you as a team leader to grab hold of that, that's where you get to shape the meaning. You get to make the meaning. Instead of saying, this was a really mediocre year, right? We did not hit our targets. We didn't do very well. Like, listen, that might be accurate. That might be factually true, but it doesn't serve anybody. That is not going to inspire your team towards new things in the coming year. If instead the interpretation, the meaning that you make is, we had a lot going on. We did really well. We did really well when you consider that. All of a sudden, people have pride. They're inspired. They're ready to go again, right? They have respect and compassion for one another, and that is a way better foundation for the next season. Way more effective, serves you way better. As a leader, once you've had a chance to read some of those back, you're going to take a break, collect your thoughts a little bit, let people go and have coffee and, just talk about some of those things a bit. And when they come back, you're going to offer a summary. Like, you got to work on this at the break. Pull those pieces together a bit and offer the story to them. Offer a summary about what's happened. So if you go with that observation, there was a lot of personal stuff going on and we did really well when you consider that. Your summary statement as a leader might sound something like this. Guys, as a group of people, we have been facing individual challenges, like an incredible amount of personal challenges. And somehow we have been able to pull it together and consistently deliver incredibly good customer service. Like, we have served our clients really, really well in spite of those challenges. But if we're being honest, we are taking that stress out on one another. And this has been a really hard place to work in the last few months. Really hard. We have some work to do because I don't think anybody wants to keep going with the dynamics that we've had. What I don't want to do is tell you to buck up, and just be better. That's not what I want to do. As a leader, what I want to commit to you, what I want to say to you is, I see these challenges. I see that you have a lot going on in your life. And I'm going to commit to having more space for us to know those things about one another, more times where you can be real about how it's going for you. And what I want to ask of you is not to be tougher, but to be gentler. I want us to have each other's backs. I want us to see one another as full human beings and have each other's backs as we move forward, because that is going to make us amazing. You can imagine how much more effective that will be for your team going into the coming year. Last couple of seconds. A great way to close this kind of debrief is to go around the room and ask everybody to share one thing that they want to make sure they remember as they leave. That is beautiful, rich. That's a beautiful, rich offering for your team. and then thank them for their time and let them go. Speaking of that, I really want to thank you for being with me. I'm really enjoying chatting with you about this. Please leave your questions in the comments for me. And I hope you do these debriefs. I hope this is inspiring you to block off some time, plan a debrief for your team. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about closure, about how you can use a debrief to bring closure to extreme conflict or dysfunction, and then leave things there so you can move forward without it. If that is what you need, tune in tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Take care.